Recording in progress.
Hello there everyone. As you can see, I'm in a different setup here. This is my downstairs environment. It's actually my work from home environment / home office. So yeah, I just want to try something a little different. This is kind of more of like a live stream setup. So maybe in the future if I do live streams, I might do it here. And the reason I say it's a live stream setup is because I can't really edit any video. So this is just one take, go, and pray that nothing horribly goes wrong. The sound is being mixed live and there's, no bass punch-ins or no error corrections. So, okay. I first like to say thank you for all the well wishes regarding Pepper. It was really heartwarming to read all your comments. I love hearing about your situations, and it's just always nice to not feel so alone with these terrible, unfortunate things that life throws at us. So I alluded to something in that last video where I did a performance of Last Chance on the Stairway, and that was that I'm going to break up the videos, at least for the time being, into a performance and then the lesson. And here's why. Even though my channel is not currently monetized, it could be in the near future. I would like it to be monetized for reasons I won't really go into right now, and it's really not about the money. So when I did the last video, which was also me trying something new for Dance Macabre, and let me show you. Let me switch over to the monitor. Here we go. So this is basically like the YouTube studio where you can see all your content. So a couple things I want to talk about here, but back to the point I was making. Here in the Dance Macabre bass lesson, you'll notice that under restrictions, I did not get a copyright claim. Now there's a big difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike. A copyright strike is something you get at the very end of a process. A copyright claim simply means that the copyright owner is allowing you to use their music, and 90% of the time they're going to take any ad revenue from that. They rarely share it, from what I've seen and heard. A copyright strike is something that happens when you dispute the claim and they refuse your claim, and that's a very bad thing. 3 copyright strikes and you are out. Your channel is done. So anyhow, for Dance Macabre, I noticed that because I was just playing little clips of the song, it wasn't enough to trigger the copyright system into doing a claim on it. So I'd like to keep that going because I have very few videos that are not copyright claimed. This one down here, the A Matter of Feeling demo Z-Mix, where I ask, hey, is that Andy or Simon? That one got some traction. Look at over 5,000 views so far, and pretty good amount of comments. And that does not have a copyright restriction on it because it's just a demo. I don't think it's in anybody's catalog, and I tweaked it a bit, so I guess it wasn't recognized so much by the computer gods. Here's something that can happen that really pissed me off. I did Japan. I second that emotion on fretless. It wasn't easy. It took a lot of practice, and it is blocked. So that's yet another category. I disputed that on or I disputed it once. Let's say when you do that, it gets unblocked, and people were able to see it, but they came back and countered that dispute and said, no, we really want to block you. I think that's like BMG Europe or BMG Germany. I don't know what their trip is. They completely blocked the video, so I'm going to rework that and totally redo the backing tracks, so hopefully they don't block me and I can just, either just get a copyright claim by itself and not a block. Don't know why they do that. It's free promotion and they're just blocking it for no good reason. It really pisses me off. These partially blocked ones, I don't worry about those. For some reason, some of my videos get blocked in Russia and Belarus. I'm sure it's something political, so sorry, Russian fans. I hope you have a good VPN. So yeah, that's that. And moving on from that, okay, last chance on the Stairway. I've done this before, and wait a minute, I'm not ready to go there. I just wanted to say that in order to be monetized on YouTube, you need to meet these eligibility requirements. I've met this one, over 500 subscribers. I'm well over that. Really happy about going over 3,000 there, so thank you very much, especially new subscribers. 3 video uploads within the last 90 days, well past that. Now this one is the one that is tough to get, for me anyway, for a channel of my size. 3,000 watch hours within the last 365 days. Since I have been posting pretty regularly since about March, I'm more than halfway there, and I hope that this just keeps growing and I can get to those 3,000 public watch hours within 1 year. So I'm really hoping that comes through. If that comes through, let's say when that comes through, then I will be monetized and all the things I'm talking about will hopefully, come to fruition, and, I can make, I don't know what, $100 to $200 a year to help me pay for, cameras and lights and all the other wonderful computer equipment that is necessary to keep all this going. Instruments, strings, Anyway, like I said, I'm not really doing it for the money, but it'd be nice to have a little bit of it back. All right, so now we're ready to move on to Last Chance on the Stairway. I've done this 17 years ago. Look at this guy. Oh my God. It's so strange to watch yourself. So here's the thing about Last Chance on the Stairway, and it's something I want to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about. I've mentioned it before in other videos, but I want to say it here again. There is a danger in knowing a song, so-called knowing a song, or playing a song all your life, let's say, all your playing years, because you get into this trap of believing that you know the song, and perhaps you learned it when your ear wasn't that great, or maybe you didn't have such a great copy of the music, it's on tape, or whatever, and so you program yourself into thinking, yeah, I know that song. Well, there have been many times where I'm absolutely wrong, and as the years go on, I notice, hey, I did that wrong. I gotta fix it. And hey, let's just have fun with this. We're just talking about music here. Sometimes it could be a friend. Like my friend Adam came over the other day. He plays in this great Duran Duran tribute band. I believe they're called Arena. They play here in Southern California. Hello, Adam, if you're listening. And, he was pointing out a couple of things to me that he realized lately, and this was one of them, Last Chance. So I thought, hey, let me revisit this and see how wrong I got it. So I'm going to show you right now the primary thing I got wrong. There were 2-3 things I got wrong, so let's play this. Ghost notes. The song has a lot of ghost notes, just like Rio, but skip them if you can't play them for now. Just go slowly, all right, and hopefully you can build up the tempo later. So right there, that's already incorrect. So what's happening there is that just about everybody plays it that way, the way I'm showing it here, because it sounds like it's doing that. So played at tempo would be like this. But it's actually a half step. It's, and I'll show that when I get back on camera again, but so that part's incorrect. The next part's okay. And again there that's incorrect because I'm doing the whole step. So it's sorry, it's so it's C, C sharp, A. It's not C, D, A. All right, so that's one thing that I got wrong. The other thing that I got wrong was it's actually a single note in the sort of the bridge section before the last chorus. Let me find it here. Break. Here we go. Right there. So it's not. It's actually an octave on that E. It's, and then the rest of it is correct. It's C sharp to F sharp to G natural to G sharp. So again, the correct way is to go. And I'll repeat that once I get back on camera. The other thing that I can't really illustrate here that's incorrect, I believe anyway, I didn't watch my old video the whole way through, is before the chorus, it does not go. You do not play the da-da-da-da. You just wait it out right there. You just take a break, take a breath, and you come in on the D to D sharp into the chorus. Okay, so those were, yeah, like the three things that I didn't really get right when I did this 17 years ago. And that's going to happen, you know, and it's natural, and it's a natural progression of a player, of a musician. So, you know, hey, it happens, you know, we're human, we get things wrong, and our ears become better as time goes on. Our skills become better, and that is the way it goes. So, okay, hopefully I've set that straight. And there are some other really interesting things, though, that have nothing to do with, you know, me getting this wrong. This has to do with John doing his thing. Okay, so let's go through a little journey here. Okay, so we're going to start here. This is the Manchester Square demo, and let's listen to that. Just really quick. Again, try not to get copyright claims here. Okay, and what I want you to focus on there is that the line goes that, the chromatic run up to the G. It's very consistent in these early years. Let's move on to the album version. Let's listen to that. Very consistent there too, right? And then we move on to a wonderfully loud live version at the Hammersmith Odeon, December 17th of 1981. It's really growling there, right? All right. Now, let's fast forward all the way to Duran Duran Appreciation Day 2023 and listen closely. So he's changing it there, and this is kind of a theme. This is why I wanted to talk about it. As time goes on, John seems to simplify his bass lines. I don't know if that's kind of a sort of a philosophy of, hey, let's distill this to the root groove, or if maybe it's just simply just a mechanical thing, like, hey, I got to do this night after night. Let's, you know, get the mechanics down to, you know, let's distill it down to the basics. For example, you know, he simplifies Notorious, and instead of doing like the, he just, instead of going like, he just lays, you know, quarter notes. That kind of a thing. So there are many examples of him simplifying things. In this case, I think the simplification is, instead of going to the which is, you know, a chromatic run from a low E to the F to the F sharp to the G, which on a dingwall is, you know, a little bit of a stretch, you know, for me anyway. I don't have, you know, these long arms and, you know, super big hands. So anyway, he's following the pattern. So he's going like this. And that is actually easier. And by the way, my error where I was doing whole notes, doing the half steps, the chromatic runs, it makes it easier as well. So overall, it's easier to do it the way John does it, you know, back then and now, because it's just less of a stretch to go up a half step than to go up a whole step. All right, and the other way that he changes this is that instead of, in the chorus, instead of going, he's just changing the note. And of course, he's John, he can do that. You know, he can change the part. He made it, he can adjust it. That's his artistic vision. That's what he wants to do. Great. So what he does, and let me just try to play it if I can get a good section of it here. Right. So instead of going, he goes. So the whole thing would be like. That's just a note choice he did. All right, so that's just something he does lately. So yeah, JT definitely changes the way he plays his bass lines. For the most part, it seems like he's simplifying them, but perhaps, you know, not always. This is not an exhaustive study, but yeah, I think for the most part he's just simplifying things. I also wanted to play this. This is just something that came up, and I can't believe I hadn't heard this before. I want to show this for two reasons. First of all, you can really hear the chromaticism here. So I'll play a clip of it. You can totally hear it right there. So the other thing I wanted to point out is, man, this dude's channel, Alon Cohen remixes, you guys gotta check it out. This version he does is amazing. There's a whole piano and orchestral thing happening over here, and I mean, I know how he's doing it. I'm familiar with the instruments for the most part that he's using, but the difference is he actually did it. So you got to give him credit. He's actually out there doing these remixes, and you know, my hat off to this person. And yeah, definitely visit his channel. He does more than Duran. He's got, I mean, totally my taste. You know, look at Arcadia, Gary Newman, Spandau, Yazoo, even some more modern stuff here, Adele, Depeche, Bangles, OMD, Human League. He does quite a bit of Human League. Hey, there's Blondie. I haven't listened to that last one. Yeah, and a bunch of Duran. So Tears for Fears. Yeah, so man, check this guy's channel out. Alon Cohen Remixes. I'll try to leave a link. If I forget though, here you go. At Alon Cohen Remixes. Pretty easy URL. All right. So let me stop the share and then just do like a super concise lesson, because I've kind of played a lot of it, right? All right, here we go. Let's stop the video screen. All right, here I am again. And by the way, this was not planned. I'm being a total Music Man fanboy here. I got my extremely comfortable Music Man shirt with the California Bear, and this is my 82 or 83 transition era Stingray. Look at this. It's got a 4-bolt neck, so it doesn't have the 6-bolt, you know, Ernie Ball era neck. So I believe these were made by, if my memory serves me correctly, these were made by, what is his name? Well, they were made by Charvel. They were put together by Charvel. So I think, you know, the parts that were left over from, you know, the original Music Man days were, I guess, in limbo, and then so he put these together under the Music Man name before Ernie Ball took it over. Something like that. I'm not a historian here, so. But anyhow, it's a wonderful bass. It's got an awesome feeling neck, and I just, you know, it was here hanging, you know, it always is. I like to look at it, I like to play it, I like to pick it up. And with this maple fretboard, I think it's easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. So here we go. Let me look at my notes here. I wanted to get all these points across here. I think I pretty much did for the most part. Yeah, I think all we have to do now is just go through the song, and let's go back to the original version. And so we were at the beginning here, right? So yeah, a lot of ghost notes here. It's very real-like, you know. So again, if you can't do them, then just keep the groove going. But it's something like. So if you can't do that, you know, just the da-da-ga-da, just you know, do every other one, or like just do one once in a while, you know, or and just to clarify that, you know, my previous sin there, the notes slowly are. All right, I hope that clears up that. So after that, we go into that break where you just stop. Wait, whoa. Let me stop myself there. Here's another thing I didn't do. It was not really a mistake, it was just an omission. But there's a really crazy sort of jumpy sort of line. Let's see if we can listen here. Oh, that's too I don't want to get caught here. Let's see. So right there. So when you do the D, so the fourth chord of that revolution, A, E to G to D, it does this crazy jump like this. Dunk, dink, ding, dunk. So sometimes you hang on it. More often than not, you hang on the D. And when you hang on it, you're going to listen for the snare and do a low D on the second hit of the snare. So Roger's going, right? And on the second snare hit, so that ta-da, so you could call it the upbeat, you're going to hit kind of like a subtle D, like this. You don't have to hit it hard. It's not like a chank, you know, but it's crazy. And I never noticed that before either till I was listening to one of the live versions with a bit, you know, louder bass. So that's, I wouldn't consider that really, really important to the part, but you can definitely hear him doing it on the recording, and that's something he didn't take out. He didn't simplify, which kind of surprises me in the later versions, okay? So after that, don't play during the, don't play during that. Da-ga-da-ga-da. Now that part, if you really want to be a stickler, you really got to hit it hard. You could do something like this. Excuse me, you can go. But anyway, the notes are D to D sharp. And then you're going F sharp to G. And then B, C sharp, D. D, E, F sharp. A. And then B, C sharp, C sharp. And here's another crazy little thing. As usual, John is doing crazy things and he's always pushing it along. especially using ghost notes. So there's a kind of feel you want to reach for here that's like a da-ga-da. So again, if you can't do it, just slow it down or just do the plain notes. But if you really want to, you know, challenge yourself and maybe be a little more true to the original, do those crazy little pickups. And on the last revolution of that, then we're going to go and then right back in. So that's a little tricky there because you just have to get right back into it. And the verses are intense, right? Now, I really like this part in the post-chorus, the first post-chorus. Let me see if I can line it up here. Check this out. I love that. I don't know why. That's like my favorite part of the song. Is it? He just hangs there. You know, no ghost notes, no eighth notes. It's just, well, the ghost notes on the D, but when he does the G to the G sharp, it's just, it's always stuck in my head, and I wait for that. You know, like, oh, I got to do that. And then the second time, he does like what I like to call the little eighth note trick, where you're omitting one of the eighth notes. So you know, one of them's like a ghost note, or you could just not play it, and that happens throughout the song here and there. Now let's go to the bridge. I think we're about right here. On the stairway. And so, as I illustrated when I was showing my 17-year-old self, it's then you go C, 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 D, 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 you know, doing little ghosties in between. Then there's a chromatic note back up to the E. Now in the second revolution of that, you're going to kind of do that trick again, where you're not going to just go. You're going to go. And then the last time, now this is maybe the most challenging part of the song. It does this twice. You're going to go F sharp G, okay? Octaves. If you can't do it, just do F sharp to G. It may be even easier if you do the octave up, so. Or if you really want to get it right. And then you're just playing a very simplified version of the chord structure, which is just so it goes boom, bam, bam, boom, bam, bam, which is pretty cool because you would think he might just follow the whole ghost note thing and go something like that, but he doesn't. He goes, and then we're into, you know, the climax of the song, the wonder why, that whole thing, and then we're out into another chorus. Oh, but here's an interesting little thing here that I made a note on. There's just a total dropout right here, and it's not the dropout for the snare. It's, you know, the da-da-da-da-da. This is right before we get into the last, what I call the sort of like chant part. Here we go. So right there, there's just no bass, and then we're into the. Simple, just E to B, B to C sharp to D. So it kind of echoes some of, kind of mixes the verse and the chorus in a way. B, C sharp, D, to A, then G, F sharp. And so the last thing I want to point out, because we've pretty much covered the bass, is that even though the song is just A to E, G to D, all major chords, here I'll attempt to play it here, like this. Or if you want to kind of mimic what Andy's doing, it's kind of something like. So even though there's that feel, since John is doing the dominant notes in there, dominant sevenths, it turns into something like something like. So the chords kind of more become like a very jazzy thing, like. So it kind of because Andy's doing the sort of a ninth to a 10th here like this, but he's going. Right? It's pretty cool, right? And then Andy's going. And then the G's a little more, regular, because Andy sort of lays off the top notes. And back to a D. So really cool harmonic things happening there. So that's the power of bass, right? We can change what's happening with where we choose to play the root note, or we might do the root, or we might hang on the third, or sometimes the fifth, or like if you want to be like John, you just do whatever the hell you want, and if it sounds cool, it's cool. And I think that's pretty damn cool, pretty damn awesome. And I'm glad he was doing all that stuff back then, because as a kid I soaked it up, and to me that sounded normal, and I think it made me a better player and made me a more creative person, certainly a more creative bass player. And that really influenced me in so many ways, as I'm sure it has influenced all of you out there. All right, I think I've talked enough, and I hope you've enjoyed this and that it worked, and talk to you guys soon. All right, bye-bye.